All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Living the Dream podcast. Today on the show, we have Rob Buffington, who is the founder of Gordian Staffing. Rob, how you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. Thanks for coming on. And we like to jump right in. So if you could start with telling us a little bit more about yourself, what you like to do for fun, that'd be great.
Sure. Um, I am a serial entrepreneur. I've bought and sold several businesses. Currently, we own four. Um, for fun, I like working. I enjoy work. Outside of that, I guess I would just say reading or watching some trashy Netflix thing.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Okay. So serial entrepreneur, and for fun, when you're not working, it's reading or trashy Netflix.
Yeah, and ideally, I can do the trashy Netflix while working, which is just kind of the best of both worlds.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Okay, so you've serial entrepreneur. You said you've bought and sold four companies, and are you on your fifth right now?
No, four is what I have now. I've bought and sold. I actually don't know, but currently our portfolio is four.
So are you like the head of a mergers and acquisitions firm?
No, I'm just a guy who likes to fix problems. It's maybe a dozen cumulatively, so it's not huge. But now currently we have four companies: one in staffing, one in accounting, one in property management, and one in building services.
I mean, you're basically a small M&A firm.
Hopefully, maybe one day.
Yeah, yeah, I gotcha. And so what is your role in all these companies? Are you just kind of visionary of the companies? Do you work in the day to day for any of it? Do you have your like chief staff, your C-suite?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I couldn't do what I do without some great people under me, working with me, I should say. Every company has somebody running it, more or less. I tend to jump around wherever the fire is burning that day. When things are slow, my goal is, yeah, come up with new ideas, look for new problems. Just see where to go next. My goal is crazy ideas. 80% of them suck, and we move on. 20% of them are kind of cool.
Solid, solid. So how did you get started? Were you ever a W-2 person, or did you buy your first company right out of college?
Pretty close. I did work W-2, but usually it was just to finance a property or something. I would go and get a job for 6 months because I wanted to buy a couple properties and they needed a verifiable income, but then I'd go right back to it. Yeah, I was in college. I started buying rental properties. That was back in 2010, 2011. The market was in the toilet, but I bought my first house for 69,000, kept building it up. From there, built a portfolio of 10 to 12 properties in Southern California. Figured, hey, next logical step is get my broker's license, be a real estate broker. Then it was, hey, let's get into property management. Then it was property management. Hey, let's get into building services. From there, we had issues with staffing. So we started hiring remote staff out of Mexico, worked tremendously well. So we founded a remote staffing company. And then the remote staffing company, accounting is one of our larger verticals or positions, I should say. But a lot of people don't want to train or they don't need a dedicated person. So then we founded Gordian Financial as a result. So it's all been cumulative.
Okay. And so did you buy is it a CPA firm that you bought?
Um, yes and no. It's an accounting firm, bookkeeping firm. We do some taxes. I founded one and then I bought another to kind of speed up the process, and then I merged the two under my brand, Gordian Financial. I did the same thing with property management. I had two companies and that I bought and I merged them together under one brand.
Dude, you are a beast. I love it. That is like this is where I want to be buying businesses like this now, honestly. But right now the focus is real estate. So
Yeah, well, in real estate's where I got started too, and business is just real estate on steroids. You can make more, but you can lose more. Takes a lot more effort, a lot more risk. Um, but yeah, in my experience, it takes as much effort to get from 1 to 10 as it does from 10 to 100 or 100 to 1,000. So if you can buy a business and jump in line at 100, you've just saved yourself two-thirds of the work.
yeah,
So
yeah.
not for everybody, of course. It's not it's not easy, it's not for the faint of heart, but it can be a very effective tool.
And so when you're buying businesses, what EBITDA or seller discretionary earnings are they typically at when you're looking to buy and combine services?
That's I bought a company that had seller's discretionary earnings of 40,000. I had one that was making 800-900,000 a year. There's
Gotcha.
no way
So
to
there's a
really answer that
range.
question. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Sometimes you need a platform acquisition. I bought a company that wasn't making money, the second accounting company, because I wanted to beef up our staff and bring in some experienced people. So I bought in just for the revenue, knowing that I could turn it around. I could bring in cheaper staff. I could grow the company, stuff like that.
Okay. Okay. Dude, that's epic. I love it. Well, tell us a bit more. So we know you're a serial entrepreneur. We know the four companies you kind of got going right now. Tell us a bit more about your motivation. What really gets you up and keeps you going every day?
Um, I believe that we have a responsibility to do good, and I believe that money is the tool with which to do it. I was actually in ministry for a couple of years. I got a bachelor's and a master's in theology, and worked full time for a little bit. Wasn't great at raising money. I'm great at making money, and I give away now way more than I ever tried to raise. So my goal and what I'm trying to do is build up enough money to launch our own charity, our own foundation.
There we go. There we go. Well, that takes us right into dreams and goals. So how much capital do you need to launch a foundation? What are you looking at right now?
More than I got. Dreams and goals. Am I allowed to cuss on this?
Yes.
Okay. My life's goal is to unfuck charity.
Oh, okay. Tell me about it.
I can just put it in those terms. In my experience, most charities suck. Not and let me phrase that. They're not efficient. They're not efficient at what they do. They have great intentions, but either they burn all their money on administration and fundraising, or they invest in stuff that doesn't have a long-term impact. They treat the symptoms, not the disease. I think, and with utmost respect, I think that most charities can trace their support back to a few key people. I think people who own businesses, people with high net worth, they can do a lot more than people giving 20 bucks a month, 50 bucks a month. Not that that's not a noble thing, but I think those same people that have the power to give millions, they worked damn hard to get there. And so when they see a charity that isn't run well, it's hard for them to give. So I invest, I work with charities. We support several charities now. I'm on the board of a couple that they run with all the passion and fervency of a business. And I think there's this idea that a business can't be charitable, can't do good, and a charity can't run like a business. And I think both of those are not accurate. And so my goal is to create a charity or a group of charities that, number one, they don't need outside influence because I've either endowed them with my businesses. I've built up a business that makes a ton of money and used it. This charity runs off of this and gets all this money, and that they run so well that other businesses will want to donate because they respect how it's run.
Hmm, I got you. What is the key to running a charity well? If you can answer that. I know you're not like in the weeds of
Yeah.
charity day to day.
Yeah, I mean, I don't pretend to have all the answers. I know some of the things that don't work. I'm still learning. I'm a young guy. I'm not yet 40, so that's part of why I'm on boards and that's why I'm doing this is I'm learning. I'm trying to learn what does and doesn't work. Bloated salaries. I think a lot of people have a lot of positions that don't need to be there. At the same time, they're usually cheap with the key personnel. So they don't realize that a really great person running it is worth paying 30% more because they'll make the organization run better. So instead, they keep churning and burning with a lot of unnecessary people. They add more and more people rather than paying what it's worth. Because when's the last time you heard somebody taking a pay increase to run a charity? It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And obviously, it shouldn't just be somebody who's in it for the money, but they've got to have some business sense. They've got to know what's your direct labor efficiency ratio, what's our cash flow projection. They've got to know how to run it well. So I'd say that's one of them. And like I said, I think a lot of charities, they treat the symptoms and not the disease. They do just enough to not feel guilty anymore, but not to actually change the life permanently.
Yeah. Yeah. I got you, man. So creating a group of charities that doesn't need that outside influence and that they run so well, other businesses will want to donate.
Yeah. And then we also want to support existing charities almost like a franchise. The analogy I give is that you could have the world's best chef and they're probably going to suck at running a restaurant, right?
Hmm.
I've met so many people that have such a wonderful heart. They're compassionate, they're empathetic, they do amazing things. And so they go into charity work, but they don't have that business sense we just talked about. So my hope is that I can take these same pillars that I'm building on the business side and support those people in their charities the same way a franchise might do for a small business owner. So we would provide administrative help. We do free accounting for many charities. We would handle the social media. We would help with the grant writing. We would handle that side of the business completely free, or at worst at cost, but hopefully free with money we're making elsewhere, and let these people do what they do best.
Mm, So you guys will
Because you
basically take the whole business aspect of things off their plate, from marketing.
hopefully, yeah, you said earlier we're a tiny M&A firm. That's kind of the goal, but the same thing that an M&A company needs, charities could use. And so the goal is to build the pillars for both, take the money from this side and use it to fund this side.
Mm, yeah,
And then hopefully people see it, rip off the idea, forget it was ever ours, and unfuck charity.
yeah, yeah. No, I gotcha, dude. I resonate with you a lot. I resonate with that goal, with that dream. I very similarly want to build up my real estate portfolio, business portfolio, to be able to sustainably fund really going to the root of issues and solving them. Um,
Right.
don't know near the best way to do it. Not saying I
Me
do,
neither.
but I'm
Me neither.
saying there has to be something to a running charities better, but then also I feel like there's a lot of segmentation, and
Mm,
like a lot of people are going for pretty much the same thing, where it's like if we solve this foundational root, a lot of these other problems would be solved. I'm like,
right.
if we could unify focus and deploy resources effectively as
Right.
a charity community, not just an individual charity. So that's some other stuff that I got cooking, but I really resonate with um, this goal of making charity much better.
And like I said, there in my mind, there's no reason that a business can't, for example, own an apartment complex or own a factory. And so, for example, I'd love to start a homeless shelter or partner with an existing homeless shelter and then endow it with a factory. So people who are in the homeless shelter, they have a place that they can work during that transitional time. And then at the end of a year, they graduate through the program, they go out with a solid work history, things like that. There's no reason that a charity can't break even. Charities are just money pits right now. But I believe that you can have a charity that is profitable. I don't think that's wrong and I don't think that's impossible. And I think as soon as we crack it, everybody else will jump on and forget that it was never that it wasn't that way at some
Yeah.
point. One of my favorite stories is Roger Bannister, the first guy to break the 4 minute mile.
Hmm.
People thought it was literally a scientific impossibility. They thought it was the drag, your heart couldn't do it, the wind, all of that. And so it stood for like 150 years from the time they started getting close. It was like 100, 150 years. Nobody broke it. One day, not even on a professional track, Roger Bannister breaks the 4 minute mile. Within the next 12 months, 12 other people broke it.
Yep.
This record that has stood for 150 years, as soon as the first person went through the gate, the next 12 followed within a year. And so I think it'll be the same way. I think if we can make charity break even at a minimum, I think everybody else will just forget that it was ever a different way.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it. And I like the idea of endowing the homeless shelter with a factory and like giving them that transition period. I guess the
Yeah.
question is, aren't how some of these nonprofits structured such that they can't be profitable?
It's they can't and I again I'm still young, I'm still figuring this out. I could be way off. I know they have to be nonprofits. They can't generate a return. I know, but I'm positive there's a way, or even if it's two separate entities and it's a partnership and I own one and the chair, I don't know the legal. I'll be honest. I'm still working on that.
Yeah.
But there's got to be a way. Or an orphanage that you give farmlands to, and the kids they work to supply their own food. Like I mean, I was homeless for a while. I did time in jail or juvie, I should say. It didn't teach me anything except not to get caught.
Yeah.
But if you have an opportunity for people to work and to learn skills and have a better life when they get out of this situation like a homeless shelter, I think you'll have better people coming out the other side.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. I agree. And I guess the other question with like for-profit businesses not being able to do good, that like um that being out there and it being a myth
Mm-hmm.
and debunking it right now, I guess the question is why can't these entities just be structured as for profit and be
Mm-hmm.
profitable enough to fund those causes?
I mean, I think there's tax benefits to being nonprofit, but you could actually, again, I'm not a legal, I'm not a tax guy, so I could be way off. I'm not a lawyer or a tax guy, I could be way off. But I'm sure you could have a for-profit corporation that is tied to a nonprofit coordinate corporate organization, and just as long as I own both, I can I can make sure it happens.
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
I gotcha.
That's
I
my dream
respect
though.
it, man. Well, cool. We got the create a group of charities that doesn't need outside influences. They run so well, other businesses will want to donate, then support existing charities like a franchise. Any other dreams and goals that you want to add to this list?
No, those are the main ones, man. It's. I think it'll take me a lifetime, but I think it's a life well spent.
Yeah. Yeah. There we go. I love it, man. Well, cool. What are the top 1 to 2 skills that you need to develop right now to make these dreams and goals come true?
Oh, it's a good question. It's a 50-year goal, so it's hard to say that.
Yeah.
Um, I would say I've got to improve on now. My position has become such that I'm managing other managers, and that is a new thing for me. So I've got to learn how to manage VPs and presidents, and I've got some truly amazing people on my team that just intimidate the hell out of me sometimes. So I got to find a way to supervise those people and equip them and serve them and give them what they need.
Yeah. Okay. So a little bit of leadership, managing other managers,
Mm-hmm.
some servant leadership. I gotcha. Any other skills you want to mention, or you want to leave it at that?
No, I just leave it at that.
Okay. Okay.
I think if
And
I learn that, everything else will follow.
I feel you. I feel you. What do you think? What do you think you need? Where do you think you're strong in that area? And where do you think you really need to enhance in that area?
I'd say I'm strong in that I love my people. I was like I said, I was a pastor for a few years. I look at my employees same way I would look at my children or my congregation when I had one. I genuinely want the best for them and will work very hard to get that. Uh, but again, good intentions. Having good intentions doesn't mean you're good at executing it. So the flip side of that would be, and who's to say I know what's best for them? Maybe I don't. So
Yeah,
you can't force what you think is best on them. So
I got you. I got you.
yeah.
And what are the highest impact daily actions that tick the needle forward towards your dreams and goals for you right now?
I think I wouldn't say daily, but monthly at least. We made a commitment that we will never take home more in salary than we give away to charity.
Mm,
So we're not waiting until we're really successful to make money. We're giving money. We have been giving money even when we were broke. We've continued to do so. It's part of our budget corporately. And the better the business does, the better our charitable giving does. So we're making sure that muscle stays well worked. We have our staffing company. Every time we place a new employee, we give one pair of shoes to one of the charities we work with. A shoe that grows, fantastic organization, stuff like that.
yeah, absolutely. I love that. What made you put that idea in place?
Just always trying to push the envelope, but it was only in the last 12 months we were able to do that. Because obviously I couldn't live on 20,000 a year when I was younger.
Yeah.
Although I come to think of it, I lived in my car for 6 months, so I might have done that actually. No, it's just always looking for the next benchmark. maybe at some point I can double that and say I have to give away double what I take home, and maybe then it'll be 4x and then 10x and reverse tithe and stuff like that.
Yeah, I got you. I
It
like
goes
that.
back to business. I have sales goals. Why can't I have giving goals? Why can't my giving goals be just as ambitious as my business goals?
Hmm. Yeah, I like that a lot. What have you running so many businesses, having purchased and sold so many businesses, what do you um when it comes to marketing and sales? I feel like a lot of small
Mm.
businesses struggle in that space.
Mm.
What have you learned about marketing and sales that you wish you would have known when you got started?
To be honest, I would say I'm pretty weak in that area. All of my businesses have grown largely through word of mouth or by leveraging an existing client base and upselling for new services. We just recently brought on a marketing director who's helping us in that regard. But I'm probably not the person to answer that because that's one of my weaker areas. I believe that if you make it better, people will demand that you make it bigger.
Mm, I got you. So make
Which
it
is not to
better.
say you shouldn't market, but that's just always been the way I looked at it.
Yeah, I mean, clearly it's been working for you. So I like it. Um, so would you say your strength is more on the operational side of the business? I know you've talked that a lot, or the hiring.
My strength is looking at situations and finding new ways to make them work
Mhm.
and finding a way that benefits all parties. The name of my company is Gordian Staffing, Gordian Financial, comes from the Gordian knot, slicing the Gordian knot, taking old problems and solving them in new ways.
Mm, there we go. I like it. The problem solving aspect, which is at the heart of every entrepreneurial endeavor, right? You got to be a problem
Yeah,
solver.
some of the best business owners I know are just people who love to solve problems and love to make things better. They can't go into a room without looking at what can be improved.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what character trait do you feel you most need to develop right now to make your dream life come true?
Um, I'd love to understand people better. As
Mm,
much as I love people, I don't claim to understand them, and I think that if I understood them better, I'd probably do a better job at helping.
that is interesting. I like that answer. Understand people better. What do you think is stopping you from understanding people better? Is it your kind of filter that you run the world through? Is it not asking questions? Is it not having the time?
No, I think the first one was a good way to say it. I think I don't get people very much. I love humanity. I'm not so big on people as individuals.
I
I'm
got
not
you.
a people person. I love humanity. I think it's morally right to help humanity. That doesn't mean I love people as individuals as much as I should. So yeah, I think I don't pick up on social cues. I had somebody once try to tell me I was on the spectrum, and I told them to piss off. Not that there's anything. I'm not making a statement or anything. I think I'm just a jerk.
I got you. I got you. So understanding people better.
Well, and I also think you can't it's not possible to fully understand somebody without loving them a little bit. Because once you understand somebody, once you understand what they've been through, what makes them the way they are, why they do what they do, you empathize, you suffer with compassion literally means to suffer with somebody. So
Mhm.
once you understand what they've been through, you can't help but love them and have compassion for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh. Understanding people better. I'm running this through my head because it's a weird, not making any judgments here.
No, I'm weird. I'm not ashamed of it. Hey, you're in Austin. Stay weird, man.
Hey, yeah, exactly. It's a weird desire to have and not be fulfilled, I feel like. Because I feel like a lot of people are out here wanting to be understood. So to want to
Mm-hmm.
understand people better and not be able to is it's just a conundrum in my head that I'm trying to piece together. That's why I'm sticking on it so much.
Yeah. I forget who said it, but somebody said it might have even been Stephen Covey or Dale Carnegie, but seek first to understand, then to be understood.
Hmm.
I think because again, if you want to be understood, you have to be able to translate it into terms that they understand. So you have to understand them before you can ask them to understand you. So many of the issues we have today they're just good people with completely different worldviews trying to go at it, neither of them trying to understand the other person.
Yep.
If we understood other people, I think we'd be a lot, I think the world would be a lot better place.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. So you have the desire to understand people better, but then you talked about not really liking people as individuals necessarily. Like you like humanity, but not liking people as individuals. So do you also want to like people more than you currently do, or do you just want to understand them?
I think the more I understand them, the less I like them.
Oh, okay, okay, that's interesting. So the more you understand them, the less you like them, but you want to understand them better to be able to love them better.
Yeah, I mean that I guess when you put it all together like that, it sounds a little circular, but yeah, I just like I said, my goal, my mission is for humanity as a group. The better I can understand why people do what they do, the more I can help humanity. I'm never going to be the guy out. I mean, although I mean, I do, but I don't claim to love it or want to make it my personal mission. But I'll never be the guy working the soup kitchen day in day out. That's not me. I have so much respect and appreciation for the people who can do that. I'm the guy behind the scenes. I know who I am and I know who I'm not. And that's an important thing to figure out.
Mm,
But the more you understand people, the more you can help them, the more you can connect with them, etc.
I got you. I got you. Do you feel like you understand the people you're close with?
Some, but it takes a long time. I think my goal for the next 5 years is just kind of get that small group of 5 to 10 people that understand me and I understand them, and let them be the visible ones, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, I got you. When do you feel like you have under? And we can move on from this if you want to. Just tell me. Be like, hey, Timmy, shut up. Let's next question. When do you feel like you have understood somebody? Does that question make sense?
Yeah, yeah. Um, I guess that's the trick of it is you never do. It's like an onion, to quote Shrek. You peel a layer away, and there's like I mean I've been married, coming up on a little over 10 years now. I don't pretend to understand my wife. I understand her better than anybody else, but I don't think I understand her. I'm still learning. There's still surprises. So I don't think you ever do understand people. I guess that's the trick of it.
Do you think you fully understand yourself?
God no, I'm a mess.
I feel you. I feel you. So if we were to put the act of understanding people into an action, what would that be?
Mm.
Would it be asking good questions? Would it be suffering well with people? Would it be being there when they needed you? What would the action of understanding somebody look like?
I don't know. I mean, it's one of the reasons I love biographies so much and memoirs because I feel like it's a great way to get in people's heads. But to be fair, you're getting into the version that they're putting out there, which is not necessarily the true version. Um, I don't know. I think if I knew that, I would be accomplishing it. I think time is a big part of it. You got to spend time with people. You have to find things that people like to talk about. I don't know. Like I said, if I knew it, I probably would have chosen a different answer.
Yeah, yeah, no, I gotcha. There's this book. It's called Just Mercy. Have you ever read that book or watched that movie?
Uh, It sounds, is that Michael B. Johnson or Michael B. Jordan?
Yeah, he was in that movie.
I've seen the clip, the trailer, the icon on Netflix or whatever program. I don't think I've ever watched it.
Do you ever read books?
I'm a voracious reader. Yeah.
You should check out that book, Just Mercy. The author of that book came to speak at my college back when
Okay.
I was in college, so many years ago. This was about
Right.
3 or 4 years ago. um, and he talked about 4 ways, like his perspective on changing the world. There's 4 things that people need to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's get proximate, so proximity, so that time
Mm-hmm.
together and that time together.
This is going to be alliterated, isn't it?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay.
But it's the proximity. It is the willingness to be uncomfortable. So,
Okay.
um, we all say in our comfort zones, be willing to get uncomfortable, get proximate and proximate to the mess, proximate to the people you want to serve, and then change the narrative, which obviously you're trying to do with with charity and all that. And then what was the last one? I think it was like don't lose hope or something like that. Don't lose hope. And those four things were kind of, and those two get proximate and get uncomfortable. Kind of is how I look at understanding people, or not even understanding people. For me, it's less understanding people and it's more becoming intimate with people. Like
Mm,
intimacy always eludes me. Like I
yeah.
understand people to the extent that I can influence them, right? So I'll ask questions and gather information, and then I can use that information to influence people. But the understanding that is at the foundation of intimacy, I think that's what really eludes me. You know how God understands
Yeah.
us, right?
Yeah.
Seeing face to face versus seeing dimly, all this stuff, like that part does elude me. And for me, you said understanding people better, it reminded me of something I said years ago back in college, and I still struggle with this to this day. Like I listen well. I have real active listening skills where I can make people feel heard without even listening to them because I know what cues to give off to make people feel heard. But what I really wanted was the heart behind listening. And I think it's similar to
Mm,
your understanding people better. Like I really want to connect with them on a heart level so that I can love them how God loves them, and so that I can walk with them how God wants to walk with them. And so anyway, that's why I was trying to dig so deep right here, because I struggle with this same thing.
yeah.
All that to say.
Well, and I think a lot of people, like I said, there's layers. I think a lot of people work really hard to hide their inner self because they're ashamed of it or because they feel like it's not worth. If I think a lot of people, myself included, feel like if anybody ever saw the real, true, raw us, we would be unworthy of love and not even worthy of love. We would just be exiled. Like if anybody knew our deepest, darkest moments, I think there's just this innate fear of rejection. I I can't remember where the quote is from, but it's you're greater than the sum of your worst moments or something to that effect.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of us have this innate fear. Carl Jung said, "Loneliness does not come from being alone, but from being unable to share that which is important to you."
Mm. You said loneliness does not come from being alone, but from being unable to share that which is important to you.
Well, Carl Jung said that. I
Carl
just
Jung said
parroted
that.
it.
Yeah. Mm. That have you ever heard that Piano Man lyric? They're sharing a drink they called loneliness,
Loneliness,
but
but
it's
it's better
better
than
than drinking
drinking
alone.
alone. I love that
Oh,
song.
dude, that hits different for me. I was like, oh my gosh, that like touched my heart.
Yeah.
Because I've had those moments where I've been in a crowd
Oh,
of
sure.
people who love me. Like these are people who I've been walking with for years or whatever it may be. And I'm like, man, these people just don't know me. And it was because of my
Yeah.
fear of vulnerability. And whatever I felt in the environment of like, they're gonna judge me, or they already judge the little things I do. So what if they know this big thing? And so it's just all of these things, all of these fears, and that leads to that loneliness because you don't share the things that are important to you. That's why I like that quote so much. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a solid quote. Well, cool. So character trait, understanding people better. If there were one or two people you could meet right now, this could be a specific person or a type of person, and they'd really help you take that next step towards your dreams and goals. Who would they be, and how would they help you?
Mm, I don't know. I think just people in charity, people who have tried to do what I'm trying to do and failed, people who are currently trying to do what I'm trying to do. I think if I knew who those people were, I'd search the earth until I had located them.
Yeah, yeah, I gotcha. That's awesome. Well, we should definitely talk more because I think we have very similar dreams and goals with getting the movement down. Well, now we're going to jump into our thriving three. And the first question is, what's your favorite book, movie, or podcast? Pick one of the three.
Favorite book is Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. It's a story about the construction of a cathedral in England in the Middle Ages. No, excuse me, not the Middle Ages, in the Anarchy period.
Is it a fictional book, a non-fictional?
Yeah, it's historical fiction. It's almost all of his books are set against real historical events. Um, King Henry I did die. His nephew did take the throne. There was real life war. The town of Kingsbridge is a fictional town, but the events are real.
I got you. And what's one way you like to take care of yourself?
Um, I love a good pedicure. It may not be manly, but I love a good foot rub, and I like relaxing, going to the spa, and I'm comfortable enough in my manhood.
Hey, that's epic, man. That's epic. Pedicure, manicure. I've had some people
Yep.
come on. I want to do a pedi, I want to do a mani, and I want to do uh, a spa day just in
Mm.
general.
Oh yeah.
I want to get a regular sauna in there as well. Like
Okay.
I like a good sauna. But oh, a massage. I've never
Mm.
had a massage.
Never?
Never. Like I've had
Oh,
the
they're great.
casual massages that like my wife will give me or that you do whatever growing up, but never a professional massage.
Oh yeah, you're missing out. It's good. The
Yeah,
good ones, your blood pressure will actually drop at the end.
really.
Mm.
Yeah, I got to get in there. I got to get in there. Well, cool. What is one action step you can take right now or continue to take if you're already doing it to meet those people in charity, people who are trying to do what you want to do, or people who have tried it and failed?
I would just say just trying to meet new people and just continuing to always be on the lookout for when those people appear. We pass a lot of people, we meet a lot of people each day, but most of them just kind of cycle through and we never think about them again. So I would just say being on the lookout for that.
Yeah, I gotcha. And this next series of questions is the last series for the podcast, all about limiting beliefs. The first one is, what is one limiting belief that continues to pop up in your life, if any?
Oh, I would say the imposter syndrome that most people have, not smart enough, not strong enough, not charismatic enough, fill in the blank. I think most successful people have imposter syndrome, as I certainly do. Dunning-Kruger effect.
Yeah. Where does it come from?
Uh, I think we see the best of other people most of the time. We see what they want us to see, but we know ourselves intimately. And going back to what we talked about earlier, we see our darkest moments, we see our weakest moments, our stupidest moments, and that's what we tend to focus on. Nobody, is in the shower thinking about that one time they, hit a home run and how awesome that was. They were thinking about that one conversation or that one time in the supermarket they said, "You too," that kind of thing. It's we think
Yeah.
about our worst moments a lot more than our best moments.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have any limiting actions that reinforce imposter syndrome or inactions, limiting actions or inactions?
I don't think so. And to be honest, I think imposter syndrome can be a little bit useful because if I believed I was successful, if I believed I had arrived, I think that would be so much more dangerous than uncertainty because that's when you become cocky and stop learning. And yeah, I think erring on the side of being overly insecure is better than the alternative. And I've known some people who did not have imposter syndrome, and maybe they should have.
Mm, I gotcha. I gotcha. Hmm. I wonder if these questions are, if they will apply to you. If you were to change your limiting belief or imposter syndrome into an abundant phrase that really spoke to your heart in the way that you needed to hear it, what would that phrase be?
It probably wouldn't even be about me. It would just be that everybody feels this way. It would be that everybody feels like an imposter. And every great man has had dark moments. Again, I love biographies, particularly of businessmen, because the richest people on the planet have made huge, massive, gigantic mistakes, and so it's we about 6 to 9 months ago we had a massive blow up at one of our companies that we had to fix, and it just took a lot of time and money and stuff like that. And the rallying cry I gave people was, hey, everybody goes through moments like this. What makes great men is how they react in these moments. So let's go fix some shit and we'll move on. So yeah, I think that's what's important to remember.
Solid. Solid. Well, cool. Last question for you. What is your favorite belief about yourself?
Favorite belief about myself. I believe that I have the potential to genuinely change the world. No guarantee to do it, no megalomania, no destiny, but I think that I have the combination of intelligence and resources and moral code to do something that will literally make the world a different place after I'm gone. I think my name will be forgotten, but I believe that if I can unfuck charity, as I like to say, I think that the world will never go back. I don't. It's not guaranteed, but I think I got a shot.
Solid. I love it. Well, Rob, that's all we got for you, man. Is there anything else you want to chat about before we sign off?
No, I'm good, man.
Cool.
Been a
Well,
good
thanks for
talk.
coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
And if people want to reach out to you, where should they find you?
LinkedIn's the best place. Rob Buffington, Gordian Staffing. You search that and you'll all come up pretty quick.
Sounds good. Well, if you are listening to this and you loved what Rob had to say, loved who he is or what he is about, make sure to check him out on LinkedIn, connect with him, shoot him a message if you know other people on a similar mission or who have tried and failed. Let's make that connection for Rob. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you on the next one. And on that note, we're out.